The Bulls already have their worst loss of the season. Zach LaVine was in the middle of his worst game ever. Literally, he missed a 3 in the fourth quarter against the Magic, made him 1 for 14. Then he fired a sloppy pass out of bounds and was benched a few minutes later. Controversial move to do to your max player, but it worked. Ayo Dosunmu stole the ball for a fast break, putting the Bulls up 4 with 26 seconds left. Then Nikola Vucevic missed both free throws up 2. Jalen Suggs shook Ayo to bury the game winner. Not only did they blow a lead to the Magic, but that's the team that owns their future. Cole Anthony posted, "Thank you, Chicago," with a picture of both Wendell Carter and Franz Wagner. Both guys who should be on the Bulls right now. Beautiful troll job from Cole Anthony. Franz and Wendell were traded for Vucevic. The Bulls got him for Wendell Carter, Otto Porter, a 2021 first and 2023 first top 4 protected. As you can see, the only thing Vooch is better at now is rebounds, with a horrible 114 points per 100 allowed on horrible defense. But the Magic have 2 good young players, and Carter is great on D. But to make things worse, Zach LaVine not happy about Coach Billy Donovan benching him.
Billy's decision, he got to lay with it. Do I agree with it? No. I think I can go out there and still be me, even if I miss some shots. But it's his decision.
Look, I get it. Zach was 1 for 14. He should be benched. But to your franchise player, it makes sense on paper, but people aren't paper. As Damon Stoudemire once said, play me or trade me. But first, today's video is sponsored by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a different way to play daily fantasy. Instead of playing against other people, it's just you against the projection. And if you have never played, now is the perfect time to start, because on Thanksgiving, we have the free square. That means however many picks you are going to make, at least one of them is an automatic win. But I am going to use my free square to make 6 picks. It's a new thing Prize Picks is doing, and you can 25x your money if you get all 6 picks correct. So for Thanksgiving, I'm going free square, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, all in on him, Saquon Barkley, I know he was bad last week, I think he's gonna bounce back against Dallas, CeeDee Lamb, Dalvin Cook, and Ramondre Stevenson. The best part about any of these flex plays is you can get a few wrong, but still win. Sign up for Prize Picks, use the promo code AMHOOPS, you get a 100% deposit bonus match up to $100 with your first deposit. That's promo code AMHOOPS. Thanks again to Prize Picks. But Billy Donovan will probably be the guy on the hot seat. The coach is always the first guy to go when things get bad, and the Bulls have been a disaster since Lonzo was injured. They were great last year when people said they'd be trash, including me. Everyone said they were sorry when they were the 1 seed into January. Lonzo goes down January 20th, and they collapse. Dropped all the way to the 6th seed, embarrassed in the first round. But if you look deeper, Lonzo's knee wasn't their problem. The Bulls were 2-20 against playoff teams last year. I mean, it's great to beat teams worse than you, but they are all in, right? This is about a deep playoff run. Even with a great start, they were secretly a fraud. The Magic used to be mediocre with Vucevic. Well, he brought that with him to Chicago. But that's not even the worst trade that the Bulls have made recently. After the Derrick Rose injury, the Bulls made questionable moves trying to stay relevant. 2016, they got former Rookie of the Year Michael Carter-Williams, picked him over Spencer Dinwiddie. Literally just cut Dinwiddie for nothing. He was picked up by Brooklyn, has become a key starter in the league. MCW is out of the NBA. In 2017, the rebuild actually began when they traded Jimmy Butler for Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, and Chris Dunn. Butler for LaVine sounds okay, but is it? Jimmy scores less, but he's an all-defense player. That's the kind of guy you build around. It's not a coincidence the Heat made it to the 2020 finals and were 1 shot away from doing it again last season. Who knows what the Bulls could have been with prime Jimmy Butler. In 2019, they traded Bobby Portis for Otto Porter, who did not pan out. Bobby, a key role player on the Bucks. In 2020, they just cut Max Strus, who is a starter in Miami, averaging over 15 points. But the biggest regret this year is Lauri Markkanen. Where did this guy come from? Actually, he was really good on the Bulls in year 2. He averaged 19 points and 9 boards. People thought he was their future. Then they hired Jim Boylan and Laurie tanked. His game was restricted to like some 7-foot outside shooter. Never allowed to be the best version of himself. Now we're seeing what he can be in Utah. But a lot of those bad moves were made by the old front office. They hired Arturas Karnisovas in 2020 and things were supposed to change. But I hate to question a guy's rebuild, but he screwed this up. Zach was 25 years old, about to be a free agent. So either trade Zach LaVine to tear it down or build around him and convince him to stay. And that is where the Bulls screwed up. They made a bunch of panic trades to make Zach LaVine happy. The ultimate example of this backfiring was the Nets in 2013. They had a new owner, so they wanted to get like really good really fast. So they dealt 5 players and 4 firsts to Boston for Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and DJ White. The Nets got to the second round in 2014, then the first round, then were a black hole for years. Meanwhile, the Celtics had their picks and got some of the best players in the game. 2014, they took James Young. Okay, he's already out of the league, not great. 2016, took future All-Star Jaylen Brown. 2017, Markelle Fultz traded that for Jason Tatum. 2018, they traded for Kyrie Irving. I know that didn't work out, but that's a pretty sweet deal for somebody else's draft pick. So the Nets traded their future, which turned into a championship contender for Boston. All the Nets got was 2 mediocre playoff runs and basketball hell. That is what Chicago did building around Zach LaVine. They looked promising to start last year, but everybody can see they are not a championship contender. Meanwhile, Wendell Carter and Franz Wagner are flourishing. They have a ton of money locked into DeMar DeRozan, and I don't want to knock DeMar because he's been amazing, but he's 33 years old right now. In 3 years, he'll be washed. That's a short window. So the only hope is to do an actual rebuild, the one they should have done 2 years ago. But what does a successful rebuild look like? You can either get star free agents like LA and Miami or rebuild through the draft. Now the Cavs, they don't get big free agents. So after LeBron left, they made a bunch of smaller, smart moves that turned into a big payoff. In 2019, they won 19 games, took Darius Garland. 2021, they just jumped into that James Harden trade to steal Jarrett Allen for a first-round pick and Dante Exum. The next draft was Evan Mobley, and before you know it, they're in a play-in game against Brooklyn. Only then did they do the big all-in trade for Donovan Mitchell, a young star on their timeline. That's the opposite of Nikola Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan for Zach LaVine. They're bad on defense, and you cannot win with that. Right now, their young rotation players are Lonzo Ball, Derrick Jones Jr., Kobe White, Adebayo, and Patrick Williams. None of those guys is going to be a star, especially Pat Will, who's disappointing this year. I am not saying that they're going to be bad forever, obviously, but it's going to take so much longer than it should have if they started this rebuild sooner. At least they don't have Kevin Durant, though, in that locker room, because what Zach LaVine said about getting benched is nothing compared to what KD said about his own teammates. Check it out.